Hey everyone, this is Coach Phoenix.
And I'm Coach Gina.
And you with Toast with the Coaches. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Perspective, the show where we drink, talk about life, the universe, and all that other jazz.
And again, I'm Coach Phoenix, founder and CEO of Role Model Life Coaching, where we focus on life transitions. At Role Model Life Coaching, we partner with our clients to travel down the road of life towards their model self.
Did you all hear that? Phoenix is going to get you to being your role model self, that person that you've always wanted to be. And not only that, but he partners with you. He doesn't tell you what to do. He doesn't do the work for you. He just shows you that you're capable of doing it yourself. So hook up with Phoenix and he'll empower you. He'll show you your inner strength and he'll get you to where you want to be.
Appreciate that, Gina. Thank you for the love.
Absolutely. And I am Gina Erickson. I am a certified life coach and founder of Clear Focus Coaching. I specialize in boundaries coaching, setting limits with those around you so you can make room for you. I also specialize in empowering women. I help women to recognize their strength and potential in work, life, and relationships so they can face every day with confidence and intention.
So make sure you check Gina out so you can move those boundaries out the way and make sure people stay in their lane. Also, if you're a woman and you need to be empowered, I definitely recommend Gina. Check her out.
Thanks.
But at this time, without further ado, I'm really, really excited about our guest today. Today, I would like to raise a toast. I would like to raise a toast for a woman who speaks out for what she believes in and stand for despite the backlash. A woman that defines the statement, make it on your own. A wifey for lifey, blogger, YouTuber, fashionista, influencer, Kimberlee Postell. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. That's such a grand welcome. Thank you.
I mean, you're amazing. You earned it. Thank you for being here, especially being that and for our viewers and audience. Kim, can you let everybody know where you reside currently?
Currently, I am in Kuwait in the Middle East. My husband is an educator, so this was a great opportunity to travel the world, for him to work somewhere differently while we work on our individual businesses. And so it's been a great opportunity being here in the Middle East. So I'm currently in Kuwait.
Nice. So,
and before that, I was an educator.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was an educator. Yeah, I was an English teacher for 10 years. So I taught middle school and high school. And while I was doing that, I was blogging at the same time. So it's hard for me to see myself as a blogger now because I was really hardcore into it, like sponsorships and brand deals. And I was really hardcore into it. And I ended up quitting my job about 4 years ago because I was making so much money from my blogging. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore with the school teaching because I was already burnt out from that. Not because of this.
Hold on. I want to stop you real quick. It's something that I heard that I want to mention. I want to bring up. So you said you was a blogger. I mean, you was a teacher. You was doing your thing, and on the side, you was blogging. And then a moment about 4 years ago, you realized, like, hey, I'm making so much money from blogging. I don't really need the headache and do this anymore. But I just want to ask you because I know some viewers though, and people in the audience that they want to understand, like, hey, I'm a blogger as well. How do I make money to make this my full-time job? Can you shed some insight on that?
You know, I think the thing about that is everyone's journey is going to be very unique based on your niche, based on, how much time you have to put into it. But for me, it was I was so passionate about, like, my husband, he would help me on the weekends. We would go take pictures. It was all I did for years straight. What
kind of blogger? What did you blog? Like, what kind of blogger?
I was doing fashion. I was strictly fashion at first. I was, curvy fashion. That was my niche at that time. I had one niche and it was curvy fashion. And at that time, I was very passionate about that. Of course, now I've evolved, but at that time, that was all that mattered to me was like growing my Instagram. I laugh now because numbers are so unimportant to me now. But at that time, that was the thing. Like, you got to have the big numbers, and, you know, you got to grow your following. And that's how I grew that page to that.
What year was this?
Because this was I started blogging really hardcore in 2010. So I've been doing this for almost a decade now. So this is not like
I'm not new to this. You true to this.
Yeah, this is not an overnight thing. Like, I think I put my first YouTube video up like in 2009, 2010 sometime, because I had another channel prior to that. And then I started Naturally Fashionable. But it all started out as a passion. You know, I was just so passionate about it. Now I have over on Earn with Kim, where I teach people how to make money online. I would say that you do have to be passionate about it, but now things have changed so much. You have to go into an industry that really you can earn money. It's different now because now everybody's an influencer and everybody's a blogger. So it's not the same as it used to be, where it was just a few of us, you know, but now it's just like so many people. And so now I think skill set is important. And that doesn't mean like you have to have like a degree in this or anything like that.
Does that mean you need an English degree? Do you need like?
No. You have to have a skill set. You have to have something that people need so much. You have to tap into people's pain, not exploit their pain, but you have to tap into their pain. And the pain could be, I need to find a way to study in a shorter period of time. If you are expert at that, then you can tap into that industry and help people. So you're a helper, you know, you're a helper, but you can't do that unless you know how to tap into pain, because that's why people do everything. It's all for convenience. You know, I can't solve this problem. I can't heal myself, so I have to go to the doctor. You know, I can't, you know, cook a full 5-course meal every night. So I want to go eat, you know, trash food at McDonald's or whatever, you know.
How did you know?
You know, because we all
like, why are you talking about me?
I know, but that's tapping. McDonald's just taps into our pain, and the pain is, I need convenience.
Yeah.
So I think anyone could be successful if they're willing to learn, you know, what their skill set is, what makes you special to the point where you can teach something to someone else and help them evolve to another level. And I do think passion is important, but I have changed. I don't want to say I've changed, but I realized you could be really passionate about something and be broke. So you're going to need a little something else besides passion behind it. You're going to need the passion, the marketing, the skill set. So that's how I work.
So it's like a formula: really passion times marketing times skill set equals Kim Postell. You heard?
Right. Equals profit equals revenue. And so I feel like, you know, that's why I feel like I was able to do this, you know, build a platform.
All kind of came together.
Yeah. That's how it all that's how it all came together. It's like, I was so, you know, passionate about it. And I that's why I do think a lot of coaches, you know, I hear them tell people, well, who cares about your passion? You need to earn money. And it's like, you know, life is not just about money. You know,
life is not about money.
We need money to live, but you can live very well on different incomes. You don't have to be making 6 figures. You can be making 5 figures. You can be making 4 figures. Like, it's about your lifestyle, the lifestyle that you want. And that's why I backed away from a lot of sponsorships and things like that, because it sort of felt like I was becoming a puppet, and I'm not a puppet, you know? So if I want to do a sponsored post.
So for the audience and the listeners to understand, when you say sponsorships, you mean, so now 4 years later, you're doing well as a blogger. So you're officially a blogger. You have a platform on YouTube and on Instagram. Now you're getting endorsements and people asking you to brand their products, correct?
Wear their clothes, yeah. And in particular, at that time, it was clothes, it was makeup. I was getting sent all kinds of stuff.
You was getting paid for it?
Clothes and makeup, yeah. And I was.
How do you negotiate that pricing? How do you find out like how much you should? I know a lot of people out there now, like Instagram and social media is a big
back in the day, we had to figure it out. But now you have things like Social Blue Book that will tell you how much you should be charging. you know, what your average, what the brand will pay for Instagram posts based on your following and your analytics. So now it's strictly
somebody
analytics.
found a need and started to build that, just like you were saying.
Right. Back in the day, we had to just figure it out. Back in the day, brands would just send to whoever the biggest blogger was, because that's all they had. Now brands are more savvy. They understand just because someone has a big audience, it doesn't mean they're making a lot of money. Okay. And it doesn't mean that they actually have the influence to sell products. Just because I like to watch you because you're entertaining, it doesn't mean I think you're smart or knowledgeable, or that I would take your advice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I might just follow you because I think
because you're entertainment. You make me laugh.
You make me laugh. It doesn't mean that I would actually take anything you say that's going to affect my life seriously. So brands have figured this out, and it's still a numbers game. I'm not going to lie and say it's not a numbers game, but it's beyond that. So now you have micro influencers. They're able to make a good living with 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers, 20,000 followers. Like, you don't have to have the big numbers. I think you have to have the body of work and the analytics behind it to prove to the brand, hey, I can push products.
Yeah. And when you say a good living, what's a good living? We talking about?
I think that depends on the person.
You can make six figures doing it.
Oh, of course, you can make more than six figures. There are bloggers.
There is no limit to that.
Yeah, there is no limit to it. There are YouTubers who are legit millionaires.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have made I'm not anywhere in that league.
Oh, I was trying to figure out that gap. As you speak, I was trying to figure out where you
I'm not in that league. No, I'm not in that. I'm more of a micro influencer. I would put myself at this point in my life more the micro influencer. But keep in mind, what's different from me and other people is a lot of people could only pull from their one skill set. Like, they have to open a store and sell these different products. Well, I can have a store. Because of my teaching experience, I can create courses. I don't need to hire anybody to create my course. I can do it myself. I know the basics.
That's where your passion and your skill set combine. That's what
and that's where my skill set meets. So that's what makes me unique, is that I don't, I'm not out here trying to be, I'm an older woman now. I'm not trying to be, the biggest, whatever, hottest, or, YouTuber. I can make money multiple ways. I have multiple streams of income. And I mean, let's be honest, I have a husband. He's a provider. So, I'm not scrounging around to keep the lights on. My husband handles all of that. But so any money we can use toward future businesses, and and we can invest our money, and and I have flexibility in my lifestyle. So I think what a good living is based on what your finances are, where you're at in life, how much time you have to put into your business. And I push away from this notion that you have to be making six figures to live well. So why? So you can buy designers that you don't need. And I'm not against designers. I have designer purses and whatever.
I was going to say, because I see the blog, you be Hermes guy.
But
it's like, what's the purpose? Like, because I want to go back to what you said earlier too, which was, you can have a passion and be broke, but on the side of that, you can be rich and have no passion.
Right.
So, like, are you going to be happy with that?
Yeah, there are plenty of rich people that take drugs and drink themselves to death and, do all kinds of things. They have everything. Why they
money don't buy happiness.
Right. So I have a moral compass and a spiritual compass that I personally live by. And what I realized is, yes, I'm always here for your check. I mean, if you want to give me a check for my skill set,
I'm not going to turn you down.
Right. But I won't do anything for money. And I don't sit in a corner and pray to God, oh, God, make me rich. Like, I'm already rich. I'm rich in love. I'm rich in family. I can pay all my bills. I don't live from check to check. I mean, I'm rich. In my book, I'm rich because I live in my own alternative world. And so
how you define it.
So I think I want to impress upon people, what makes you rich is not only being able to pay your bills and not struggling, but what makes you rich is your quality of life. And that's what living abroad has been for me. Being able to get away and have some quiet space without all the
distractions.
Get away from all the distractions. It has really done so much for my personal development. And I can't really describe how everybody, I'm not saying people need to move abroad, but you need to do something to get away from the distractions, because I really think people could elevate.
Like meditation, yoga.
Yeah.
Walk in the woods.
Whatever. You need to find a way to really detach from the propaganda, from the messages, from what you think you should have. You know, I think that's a problem that a lot of us face, and we don't even know it's happening to us. We're just buying into, you should have that bag, or you should wear that. And it's like, I'm against that. Like, if I want that bag, okay, but do I want that bag? And why do I want that bag? So every day I'm still questioning. It's like, well, why do you want this? Do you want this to prove like your social status? Do you want to show you got money?
Yes. So Kim, I wanted to touch. I was going to ask you that. So Wifey for Lifey, I see your platform. I love it. I see what you're doing for women and other wives. So I think that's great for that particular community. However, and I also hear, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, right? I also hear like you're preaching from your spiritual side, and you're saying like, hey, be rich and be rich within Christ, and be rich within love, and those things is important. So one will say, what about if I'm this person that doesn't have the income that you have and doesn't have the husband that's a provider? However, one could say, isn't it easier for you to say that, but you still have those labels, and you're preaching like, hey, you don't have those labels, but one have those labels?
Well, listen, there's always people that have more than you. There are people who have more than me. They also have that providing husband, and they have more money and more riches and more success. They're not better than me. So what? I live in a very rich country. Kuwait is a very rich country. It's a very flashy country. People love their designer out here. And then there's like us, that like, we're the expats. We're not oil rich, you know. But I never walk into any place, any restaurant, any event with my head held down as though I'm a peasant. You know, it's a state of mind. You know, if you feel inferior to other people.
Yo, cheers to that. You got to raise your to that, Kim. That was powerful. Yeah. That was powerful. I wanted to get that out. Like again. We're friends, and we know who you are. So I just wanted to get that out. So individuals that have that thought in their mind and had that question, I just wanted to raise that question for you so you could explain that, and you explain that very well. So
yeah, it's a state of mind, and I've had money struggles. Like listen, I'm not 25, and I think that there's this image out here like, oh, you should have it together by the time you're 23 or by the time you're even 30. It's like, no, I've gone through financial struggles. Yes. I've had to learn how to manage my money. I've had to pay the consequences of not making the right decisions. What I teach is what I know. Okay. And it's not to say, ooh, look at me, I have this. It's to say, you could have it too, and even more. That's the point of my platforms. It's to say, you can also have this too, and maybe even more. Go make more money than me. Go do more than me. Yes. I'm not in competition with you. Okay, that's not what this is about. We're not in a
You're an example. You're an example to show that it's possible. What I'm hearing from you also is that if you focus on the things that are important, those riches, the love, your relationship, yourself, your well-being, your mental health, if you're focused on those things, anything above and beyond is gravy. Like, you know, you have your core, and above and beyond that is great. If I get the designer labels, fantastic. If I don't, that's fine, because I have what really matters, what really makes me rich, what really is my life and my focus is what I'm hearing. And I think that's absolutely beautiful, that it's like, yeah, it's cool, but ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yes. If I have it, if I have it, great. If I don't have it, that's cool too, because I have.
Let's put it this way. I'm not going to cry because I can't get a Gucci bag.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna cry if I can't go into the Gucci store and get a Gucci bag when there's people who can't even eat.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
You know, there's people out here who can't even eat.
So real quick, you mentioned getting away, right? So you said you enjoy the fact that you live abroad because you you're able to get away from the madness and get away from all the conflict of the everyday life. However, I know that you had a huge voice within a certain community, and being abroad, one would not think that you are, because you're very prevalent in American politics. And can you just go over like your political views and kind of explain to the audience and the listeners exactly what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, a couple of years ago, when my husband, actually, he was the one who pretty much realized, we're not Democrats, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, we used to like, this was a huge contentious point in our relationship. Like, it got heated. It was like, how in the world could you be Republican? Like,
how old were you at this time? How old?
We were in our 30s. I don't know exactly how old we were, but we were in our 30s when we legit realized we were not Democrats. We just really weren't Democrats. We didn't, that's not how we live our life. It didn't match our morals. It didn't align with our values. And we just really realized, like, wow, we can't vote Democrat anymore. And that was very hard for me to accept, because I think, my parents were, even though my father's a minister, like, like went to seminary and everything, like a legit went through the whole process. My parents were Democrats. And my mom is still a Democrat. And I don't know anyone more morally sound than my mother. I don't know anyone that can put me in my place, but she's still a Democrat. Yeah. So what I realized is, like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense. And so I think politics is a private thing. I don't think that people should have to talk about, who they vote for, what their beliefs are. Everyone's different. Everyone has different value systems. Everyone has different principles. But when I noticed that people were being attacked for voting for a particular candidate, or for even being conservative or being Republican, that's when I was like, no, I can't be silent. I can't continue to be silent, because you're making assumptions about people that you don't know. And I'm not saying because I vote this way, I like this person, or I think this person is the greatest guy on the face of the earth. What I'm saying is I actually know the policies.
Right. It's more nuanced than that.
Yeah, it's more nuanced than I don't like him, or I think he's racist, or, it's a more nuanced conversation that people refuse to have. And because I noticed that's why I started speaking out.
Can you break down a little deeper what you noticed? So I think I'm not going to say most, so that me being stereotypical and generalizing, right? But like you, within my experience within the Black community, most Blacks generally are taught and lean Democrat, right?
Yes.
Yes. So can you go take a deeper dive in explaining why, as a woman of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and your husband being in the fraternity, and you being when one could consider pro-Black, how you and why are you a Black conservative and a supporter of Trump?
Yeah, I mean, even that term that you use, that phrase pro-Black, like a couple of years ago, that wouldn't have bothered me. Like I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But now at my age and with my life experience, why do I need to be pro-Black when I'm Black? I think just the fact that I'm Black shows that there are issues and there are things that I have to deal with that are unique culturally, okay? That would automatically make me someone that would want to help not only anyone that's of my race, but any race, okay? So I just started to develop a problem with the way, I'm supposed to support Black people because they're Black. Well, then you can just count me out, because I'm not going to just support you because you're Black, okay? Because I'm not an idiot, okay? I'm just not going to support anybody because they're Black, okay? Yeah. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. One thing I can guarantee you, I won't hurt you, okay? I'll just leave you alone. But if I can help you, I would help you. So what I noticed was the name calling, the shaming, the canceling. And I just wanted people to understand.
From who? Like, from who? Who are you speaking about?
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you, it's always going to come from your hoteps or your very pro-Black people in their mind being pro-Black, you know, who think we're race first, no matter what. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you killed somebody, if you robbed people, if you sell poison to your brothers and your so-called brothers and sisters, if you shoot them down in the street, if you're a criminal, it doesn't matter. We're going to support you no matter what. Okay. Or we're Black. Don't you know we're Black? That's why people are racist against us. We're all poor. You know, we're all struggling. You know, and then you have that group of people. It's like, you know, people are always going to remind you that you're Black. Well, let me tell you, I've never had anyone remind me that I'm Black. I'm sorry I haven't had that experience. I mean, because I know I'm Black. They can see I'm Black. I'm not small, you know, so it's like all these people have their own. Listen, we all see through our own lens. Okay. I'll say that. We all see through our own lens. So people see through their lens and that's it. They can't see outside of their lens. And I'm not saying these are bad people, because I used to have some of these same views and ideologies too, but they see through their own lens. And so when I realized that for me, if I say I'm a woman of faith, that I don't base my relationship with you off skin color. That would make me go against what I say I believe in.
Yeah.
So when I really started exploring what I really believe in, then I couldn't be a part of certain groups. I couldn't agree with certain things because it literally goes against my value system. It's not because I hate you because you're different from me or I think you're a terrible person. It's just that I can't agree. I can't agree. And people have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Democrats. I don't go on their platform and say, oh my gosh, you're such an idiot and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you want to vote for Biden when he comes out the basement,
that's your right to do that.
Yeah.
So I have a question around that and around kind of that shift in the mentality going from, you know, being raised Democrat and having your family be Democrat and then having that conversation with your husband. At what point in time of developing your platform as this influencer did that happen, and how did that shift influence your businesses?
Damn, Gina, that's a good question.
Well, okay, so me talking about conservatism and what it's like to live a conservative lifestyle and what it means and trying to, you know, break down the barriers and stereotypes, that's very recent. That's in the last, like, I want to say even 3 to 4 months. Like, I never talked about politics on my platform. Yeah. You know, that was not something that I talked about. I only started talking about it because I see the state of America. And what people don't understand that have never left America is most people around the world, even in the most corrupt countries, take pride in their country. You can't talk about their country. You could die from talking about the leadership in some countries. I don't think Americans understand that I'm looking at things through a global lens and they're looking at it through their one lens. Because most people have never left. Most people don't even have passports. Most Americans don't even have passports.
So I hear you, right? But I just want to, there's a group of individuals and they're called veterans, right? And I'm part of that group. And as veterans, we feel the same way. So I know me, and again, Gina and we create a platform so individuals could feel free to share their perspectives in front of the audience, in front of the listeners, and then the listeners be able to comment and share positive perspectives, right? For everybody to listen to one another. But her and I, we do not share our political views. So when I'm abroad, because I'm a world traveler as well, I love to travel, and say whatever president it is at the time, and individuals be like, hey, what about your president? That guy is A, B, C, D, right? I always say, it doesn't matter if I'm for that president or against that president. I always say, he's an amazing president. I love America. Because, and I think most vets would say this with me, no matter what, that's America. That's our country. And no matter how I feel and how I'm treated, that's America. That's our country. So I just wanted to just say, hey, I agree with you.
Right, and that's the perspective I'm coming from. It's like, I think people think I'm like, if you say you're conservative, or or Republican, and I would say I'm conservative, meaning conservatism is a lifestyle. It's not about being a Republican. People think, I guess they think it's about being a Republican. Now, do most conservatives lean Republican? Yes, because
so explain that a little bit. Explain the difference between living a conservative lifestyle and being Republicans, because that's like some people like, say, hey, I'm socially liberal, but I'm fiscally conservative, things in that nature, right?
Right, yeah, because Republican is a political party. It's not a lifestyle, okay? So it's a political party. It's a group of people getting together saying, we believe in these principles. You know, we're pro-gun, because everybody knows Republicans are pro-gun. So our values align on these things, but it's a political party. You have gay Republicans now. You know, some people would think that's an oxymoron, but we have lots of people who live alternative lifestyles coming out saying, I'm a Republican. So it's not, Republican is a political party. Conservatism is a lifestyle. That is how me and my husband live. We are we don't have any kids, but we're pro family. Okay. We believe in family. We believe in family sticking together. We believe in treating people right. Okay. We believe in the importance of marriage. And there's just a certain way we conduct ourselves. That's our lifestyle. Now, does it align with the Republican Party? Well, as long as it does, then I'm going to vote based on policy and what aligns with my values. No matter who the president is, I wouldn't care if the president was Jack Rabbit, because who the president is not going to affect my life either way. If Biden wins, it's not going to affect my life. If Trump wins, it's not going to affect my life. Okay, for the most part. Sorry, my little rubber band came out. For the most part, it's not going to.
Just letting your hair down for this.
Yeah.
So listeners,
it's just my rubber band in her head just. Yeah, my rubber band just popped. It was like
just went everywhere. So
I don't care. You know, listen. Whoever goes into office, God is still God for me. So it don't matter. It doesn't matter for me, but I'm not going to sit back and not vote or not participate because I don't like someone. I mean, I'm a grown woman. That's like a preschooler. I don't even know how people, you know, how do you raise your children and you think like this? Is this what you teach your children? You don't like her, so don't share that crayon. Like we have to work with people who we don't like. And there's only two parties that matter. Democrats and Republicans. Or do they both have flaws? Yes, they both have severe flaws. Are they both corrupt in some ways? Yes, but everything on this earth is corrupted in some way or another.
So what about your conservative lifestyle aligns with the president you support in this election?
When I think about, I don't vote based on who's the president. So when I think about my conservative lifestyle, I'm not thinking about Trump. I'm not thinking, ooh, my lifestyle matches with Trump. I'm thinking about, like, I like what he's done with the First Step Act, you know, giving people a second chance at life. I'm loving what he just did with diabetes care, making insulin affordable. I'm loving what he did with this other new health law that he passed, allowing people to get treatment that's not approved by the FDA. It's your choice. If you want to get treatment that's not approved by the FDA, you should be able to do it. You know, I love that he puts America first. It's America first. I like his stance on illegal immigration, being someone that's somewhat sort of an immigrant, although in this country, I can't become a legal citizen. People think that that's like a thing. Like, you know, you could go to anybody's country and just stay there and be a legal citizen. Like, my husband had to work really hard to get his paperwork done. It took me a long time to get my residency here. Like, you have to work hard to move to someone's country and stay there and live as a local. And so I think that immigration is a good thing. I think that we need to bring in the best and the brightest, and we need to help countries that need our help. But I think people think that's a right, and it's not a right, it's a privilege. And so if you ask me where I align with Trump, I align on these things. People don't like Trump. Most people don't know policy, because I didn't. So I know most people don't know. They don't talk about policy. If you ask anybody why they hate Trump, they will never bring up policy.
They would say that he's racist as a black woman coming from the South of North Carolina. Do you feel that President Trump is a racist?
I don't. I have not seen in his presidency, I have not seen anything that would make me think he's racist. Now, is he offensive? Yes. Yes. Is he offensive? I can see why people don't like him. I mean, I'm not surprised why people don't like him. For me, he's humorous. I mean, I think I'm a blunt person, so I don't take President Trump seriously when he's saying things. I know he's being facetious. I know he's trying to stir you up. I know what he's doing. I get it. I'm in the business. I'm an influencer. I understand.
I mean, that seemed like this is like Phoenix said, that we try to keep our political opinions to the side, and that we want to make this a platform for people to speak out. So I'm curious what your opinion is about, because you said that those are the things that you align with Trump on, and that those are the things that you found that he's done good for the country, that he's putting the country first, and he's, giving people choices, and that those are things that align with your moral compass. And I'm curious, are there things that you have found that do not align with your moral compass, and how does that kind of shake out in the end of the day? I mean, because like you said, they're all corrupt, so it's like, it's hard, because it's like, I might vote Democrat, I might vote Republican, everyone has problems, but how do you align that when you're like, this isn't good?
For me, I let go of my self-righteous spirit. For me, people bring out their self-righteous spirit when it works for them, because most people are nasty when they want to be nasty. Go to any store, push somebody accidentally, skip someone in line, forget to give them back their money. They're going to probably the average person is going to be very nasty to you, make them mad, hurt their feelings. They're going to act even worse than Trump. I've seen it. So this whole self-righteous spirit that people have about Trump, it's actually laughable to me, because most of you don't have better character than he does, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not better than Trump. Just because I live by a certain value set, it doesn't make me better than him. Is he inappropriate sometimes? Could he just be quiet? And would that suit him better? Yeah, it's sometimes he's funny, and what he says is funny to me, and I laugh. Yeah. He's not my pastor.
Sure.
I don't go to him for spiritual guidance. So for me,
I mean, his personality, I think is a footnote. I think the personality is a footnote. I think that what I'm trying to get to is that if you have a Democrat that believes in A, B, and C, and you believe in A, B, and C, and they believe in X, Y, and Z, and you do not, and you have a Republican that does not believe in A, B, and C, but they believe in X, Y, and Z, right? So you have some things that you align with here and some things you don't align with there. What is that process that helps you come to that decision of, okay, I'm a little bit here, this doesn't align, but that's okay, I can pass on that. Like, that's a poison I can take, that's a poison I cannot. How does that shake out?
I can. Well, I go to the logic and the real facts and statistics. I can give you an example: police brutality. Like that, the number of police brutality is not. It's like minute. It's like the least most important problem in the Black community. If you actually go look at the FBI statistics, if you look at the ratio of white people who have been killed by unarmed by cops, and Black people who have been killed, it's like, it's not even the way. It's like
70%. I think I heard Candace Owen recite that during one of her.
It's like the way people talk about it. You would think my husband couldn't leave his house when we lived in America. You would think that they were just hunting him down. Now, but as a logical person, I understand that there are cops who are bad. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, there are no bad cops. There's no discrimination going on. There is no racism. No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. Of course, there's discrimination. Of course, there are corrupt cops. Of course, there needs to be some social justice reform in the court system and with cops. But I'm not going to say defund the police. That's crazy. Who am I going to call when y'all try to rob me? Anybody, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, who am I going to call if I defund the police? Now, that's not a logical decision to me. So that's where I cross the line and I say, oh, does that meet my values? No. Is it going to take more tax money out my check? That would be a no. So that's where I make it about myself. It's not really about, it's not going to be about other people. It's going to be what's best for my family and for my lifestyle. Because before I can help anyone else, I have to help myself. So
you can't help a drowning person if you're drowning yourself.
I can't help a drowning person. So that's how I make that decision.
Yeah, that makes sense that you have to go with what, like you said, you have to make the best decision that you know how with the information that you have, because it would be against, I think, anybody's core feelings if they voted for something that they didn't believe. You have to try and educate yourself as much as you can. You have to be understanding and empathetic, and then go with what you believe, or else you're, I think, betraying yourself. And so I'm wondering too, how, like you said, that you've come the past couple of months and you've been a little bit more outspoken about things. And to Phoenix's point earlier, that being a Black Republican is something that many people don't think even exists. You know, like Kanye came out and he was like, hey, I support Trump, and people lost their minds.
I lose their minds. Call it what it is, Gina. You might not be able to say it, but I'm going to say it. They call you a sellout and all types of other stuff. That's why I mentioned that backlash. That's what I meant. It's all types of nastiness.
Yeah. So to that point, I'm curious about what your experience has been with that. Has it been something that you've kind of had to, you know, be strong through, or, you know, especially being in Kuwait and being a little bit removed for the American audience, but you're still very heavily in social media. Is that something that you're like getting attacked from, or, you know, has that just kind of been smooth sailing? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, especially with your platform.
Well, for me, I'm, like you said, I'm a little removed from direct access. People can't access me. Now, I'm going to be honest. If I was in America right now, I probably would say nothing, because people are that evil, and I wouldn't want my husband affected. I wouldn't want, I just wouldn't want to put myself at that type of, because I feel it's this serious, which is why
you think it's like, you know, back, like people call it beef. You think it's like beef. So if you say, hey, really?
It's becoming,
that's serious.
It's that serious. And see, you can't play with me like that. So because I know, you know, I'm pro-gun. So because you couldn't play with me like that, I know it would be best just not to address certain things, which is why people don't talk about politics. Smart people don't talk about religion, politics, or anything that's going to cause any type of.
Yeah, that's extremely sad, because how can we fix any problems if we can't communicate? I know you're like a relationship coach, and you do the wifey with life, wifey for lifey. You have the wifey for lifey platform. I know you're big on probably communication and within the marriage. So if communication within a marriage is important, imagine communication within politics amongst leaders deciding on a country and decisions on countries and policies and rules and things of that nature. So yeah, absolutely. I agree, man. It's sad that we can't have a platform where individuals can just have a shared conversation to hear each other. Don't have to agree with, just to hear one.
How do you learn if you can't have those conversations, like safely have those conversations with somebody? So to that point, do you have any advice that you would give, being a very bold and well-spoken woman, do you have advice that you would give to people who do want to have these conversations and do want to start these conversations in a kind and understanding manner?
Awesome question.
Yeah, and I think this is something that I'm learning myself, because I haven't arrived. I think everyone can improve their communication skills. So I'm working on this with myself every day. I think what I've learned is stay away from the name calling at all costs. And sometimes we do want to call people names because we feel like we're being attacked or we're frustrated. But I think staying away from the name calling is going to help you understand better how to communicate with people. Second, I don't think you should be afraid to share your views, but I understand why people are afraid. You know, people almost have to defend themselves. People dox you, they release your address. And it's not that I'm afraid of people. If I was in America, I'm not afraid of anyone but God. But it's the fact that I don't want to drag other innocent people who love me and risk them. I think, you know, people are afraid of losing their jobs. It's all kind of weird things happening. So I understand. So I think being empathetic as much as you can is important. Empathy is something that I'm always trying to work on. And also just not engaging with a person that clearly is not trying to engage. I just block you. I think that we just have to learn to not engage in contentious interactions. If you see a person is really not trying to ask you a question, they're not really trying to engage in a conversation or learn.
They're trying to just stuff their views down your throat.
Right, just block them. You can tell. I can tell the difference between a person that legit has a question and or is pretending that they have a question so they can, you know, do the
try
whole,
to trap you.
Try to trap you. And it's just, I'll just block you. I'm not going to go back and forth.
I think you mentioned a good point as far as having empathy. But then to Gina's point, it's hard to have empathy if you don't allow me to have questions to understand. In order for me to have empathy and be empathetic for you, I need to understand what you go through. So in order for me to understand exactly what you go through, I need to hear your voice. So I need to hear your voice. I need you to hear my voice. And then we could understand where those gaps lie. But if we don't have those conversations, it's hard for us to continue down any process.
Yeah. And I think like empathy is built a lot on being able to put yourself in that person's shoes. So if you can't see yourself in that person, it becomes very difficult to relate to them, which is what I love about talking with you, Kim, is that there's so much that I think I can personally relate to in your walk of life. You know, that you are a very dedicated person, you're a very passionate person, you're a hard worker. And I think that helps to support the conversation and say, okay, like you and I, there's some commonalities between us and we may differ, but we can still see each other in each other's eyes. And I think that's really important to start off those conversations and just say, okay, where do we have this common ground and where can we go from here?
I totally agree. Yeah. Kim, so I would love your perception or your perspective on the Black Lives Matter movement, being a Black woman, not only a Black woman, but also being a Black conservative. And what's your perception on, I know you said that the word pro-Black to you is now offensive. How you feel about
No, it's not offensive. I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, it's not offensive because I understand why people feel like they need to be pro-Black. I feel like you can't ignore history. You know, you can't ignore history and you can't ignore the indoctrination that has been, you know, taught throughout history. I mean, when I was in school, we learned about slavery and civil rights. And when I was a teacher, I taught about these things, but I never really taught about Black Wall Street. I never talked about things that we've seemed to completely leave out of history, you know, and that's a problem.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter. Yes. Obviously, I agree with that statement. I agree with the statement that Black lives matter. Okay. I don't agree with the movement. I don't support the movement at all.
Okay.
I don't support the movement because I don't think they speak out against what the actions of what some of these paid people are doing, destroying people's businesses, destroying people's properties. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with their mission statement. If you go to their official website, I don't agree with their thought process on family values.
Hold on, what about their mission statement don't you agree with?
Well, I just don't agree with the idea that, you know, I think they said something like we create little ecosystems, and they were speaking of, it seems like they're part of the LGBT movement. Like, I don't understand what that has to do. Yeah, I don't understand what that has to do with Black Lives Matter. They're meshing all these different topics. And listen, I don't have a problem with
So you feel like it's a subliminal message?
Yeah, it's like some other type of,
or that it's getting diluted
there, that it's getting diluted. I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't understand what this has to do with police reform. All these other hidden agendas that they have in their mission statement. Not because I'm against transgender people. I don't care if you are a boy and you want to be a girl. I really don't care. Okay, whoever you are with in your bedroom, that is none of my business. As long as it doesn't infringe upon me and my belief systems, you should not be hurt. You should not be bullied. You should not be fired from your job. You should be able to live freely like everybody else. I don't care. And you shouldn't care about what I do in my bedroom either. Okay, I don't really care. But
it's the connection of those two things.
I don't have any connection with that. So, I mean, I wouldn't be at a gay parade. Okay, for what? That's not aligned with my core values. It doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I'm homophobic.
It's what you said earlier. I might not help you, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to stand in your way and tell you not to, but I'm not necessarily going to participate.
Right. And that's my right. And what I have a problem with in today's society, it is my right to live by my value systems. I would never go on a person who is a member of the LGBTQIA, whatever it is, community, and say to them, you don't need to be living like this. You're going to hell. You're whatever. Because then I'm doing the same thing that they are doing to me by saying, oh, well, you don't support gay rights and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to support gay rights if I don't want to, okay? I support gay rights in the sense of you shouldn't be mistreated. You should be able to live how you want to live. No one should be abusing you or anything. That's as far as I'm going with you, okay? I'm not going any further with you. And it doesn't mean I hate you or I dislike you. It's just when I read their mission statement, I didn't agree with, the breaking down the nuclear family. I'm just paraphrasing. I know I believe in the nuclear family. I was raised, we need a nuclear family. Kids want their mother and father. So I don't agree with that. I don't hate these ladies. I would never go online and say the disgusting things that people say about them. The fact that they're lesbians is irrelevant to me. That's not why I don't support the Black Lives Matter organization. And people will say that, well, they are gay. And I'm like, y'all, so what? So are a whole lot of other people. A lot of people are gay. That's not the topic. Okay. The topic is they put all these, different caveats that I didn't even know about. So that's why I can't participate in that whole Black Lives Matter, because when I say Black Lives Matter, if I use the hashtag Black Lives Matter, no matter what, people are going to attach it to that organization. Unfortunately, I know that hurts certain Black people and I know it makes them upset, but you'll just have to get over it. I'm not going to use that hashtag. I'm not going to use that phrase. If someone asks me, does Black Lives Matter, do Black Lives Matter? Obviously, I'm Black. Well, what kind of crazy person would I have to be to say, yeah, I want police to shoot men and lean on their necks and murder them?
But how you feel about the All Lives Matter movement and the Blue Lives Matter movement?
Listen, I feel like that those movements were created as backlash, and I think they have a right to do it. What I don't understand is the hypocrisy. If Black Lives Matter can operate as an organization, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, I just don't support them. They have a right to create their own organization, even though it has its own agendas. They have a right. Well, people who support the police have a right to support the police if they feel like the police are being mistreated as a group. We can't make all police officers suffer for the crimes of a few officers who are not doing the right thing. All lives matter. I understand why people say that. What if you have a Black mother and a white father? What if you have, and people act like Black people and white people are the only Americans. I find that offensive. Why are we just talking about Black people, white people? I mean, they're Asian Americans, Latino Americans. Y'all act like Black people and white people are the only people in America. There's all different types of Americans. And so I understand why people are offended by it, because they feel like, oh, well, you're being insensitive I just think it's dumb. I just think it's dumb, because if Black Lives Matter has a right to say Black Lives Matter, then All Lives Matter has a right to say what they say, and the Blue Lives Matter has a right to say what they say. And it should be able to coincide. Go on your team. It's just like in school when nobody picked me for dodgeball because they knew I was probably too chubby. You know, you're the last picked, or maybe you have to stand alone because maybe you don't agree with any of them. So maybe you have to stand alone. Why can't people pick the team that they want to be on as long as you're not being violent? And what I would say, out of all those groups, Black Lives Matter is the worst, because look at what they're doing. Is Blue Lives Matter going into restaurants, knocking people's food off the table? Are they fighting people? I haven't seen anyone from All Lives Matter do that, and I haven't seen anyone from the Blue Lives Matter movement do that. But I have seen some despicable things being done in the name of Black Lives Matter. And as a Black person, I'm offended by that. Don't put my Blackness behind anything that is immoral, degenerate, and that hurts innocent people that have nothing to do with what has happened. That's how I feel about that.
Man, and I think, Kim, that was a powerful statement to leave our listeners and our audience and our viewers with. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for providing us with your time. I know it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning. You look amazing, by the way. So thank you for showing up. Before you go, this is my favorite part of the show. Is our thing of the day. So Kim, during our thing of the day, this is where we provide our viewers and our listeners with a message, a poem, a quote, something that's touched us this week that we want to provide and give to them so they could keep moving forward until they see us again next Thursday. So at the time, I'm going to start with my thing of the day. My thing of the week. So my thing of the week is this. Today I had a conversation with a friend. The friend, just like other individuals, Kim, in America, we're going through a time where individuals or businesses, huge corporations, is folding because of the pandemic. Businesses that you would never think that will ever fold, they're folding. So it's a domino effect, and individuals are losing their job. It's causing individuals to do two things. Stress, right? Because that's what we naturally do, or it have individuals being creative. So as my friend is telling me about their problem, they say, hey, I'm going to have to look for another career. I told them this. I say, hey, go ahead and look for another career, but I think you should do something that you love. Find your passion. They say, man, that is so hard because that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but I really don't know what it is that I want to do. I don't believe that. I believe that individuals do know exactly what they want to do. What happened is your mother, your father, your friends, other people tell you, you can't do that. That is crazy. You will never make it, because they're telling you their perception from their lens. They don't see what you see. So this is my advice to her, and this is to them, and this is my advice to you, the audience, the listeners. Find your passion, not a job, not a career. Find your passion first. If your passion is people, if your passion is comedy, if your passion is education, find your passion. Once you find your passion, then you figure out, how do you scale your passion? How do I use my passion to make me money? How do I use my passion and that's that, right? That passion, how do I use my passion and the skill sets, like Kim mentioned earlier, to scale that into making money, and then you will find your career. So find your passion, and once you find your passion, you'll find your career. That's my thing of the day. Coach Phoenix, role model mindset. Coach Gina.
I love it. Phoenix, you certainly have found your passion in doing what you do as a coach and doing what we do here at Toast with Coaches. I can tell every time that you're passionate about what you do, and It's working for you.
Yeah, same here. I see your passion. So I guess that's the reason why we're partners, right? Two peas in a
Guess
pod.
so. Which brings me to my thing of the week, because I think you accidentally summed up my thing of the week so perfectly.
Did I?
Always accidentally, which is a quote that says, if you see beauty in something, don't wait for others to agree. I'll say that again. If you see beauty in something, don't wait for others to agree. If you believe in something, if you see something beautiful, if you find your passion and other people don't agree with that, you got to follow your heart. You got to stick with your passion. You got to stick with the thing that's speaking to you. Just like our beautiful and wonderful guest, Kim. She's sticking with her conscience. She's sticking with the things that she believes in, and she is successful, and she has the core things in her life that she loves and that makes her rich because she continues to do that. Kim, I thank you so much again for joining us today and for being here with us. You've certainly given me so much to think about and so much to consider. I love having different people on the show to share their perspective, and it was absolutely a joy speaking to you today. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely, Kim. You're amazing. To take your original YouTube with the fashion and turning it into a conglomerate with Wifey for Lifey, your Avon store, your Amazon store, and just everything else you have going on is amazing. And I think people could really learn from you. So individuals, listeners, audience, please look at the tab below. Make sure you check Kim out, follow her, check out her YouTube, check out her stores. Amazing woman, amazing leader. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Toast with the coaches, Coach Gina, Coach Phoenix, Kim. Audience, we love you. Subscribe, follow, tell a friend to tell a friend. We out. Cheers.
Cheers.